This is Toledo Symphony Lab, a behind-the-scenes look at the world of classical music from WGTE Public Media and your Toledo Symphony. I'm Brad Cresswell. Joining me today in the studio are the Toledo Symphony's president and CEO, Zach Vassar. On the phone, we have Principal Second Violin and Artistic Administrator Merwin Sue, and we have a very special guest who has also joined us in studio. I got a little bit of music. That is Michael Lang. Hello, Michael.
Hello.
Michael is a frequent guest. Well, you know, the reason I put that on is because we're all wearing masks, so this is kind of a tribute to Zorro, right?
Yeah, when you guys suggested this plastic bag here, I thought that was a little strange, but it's a little hard to breathe.
Yeah. Well, it's all right.
Can I have some holes?
Holes? No, we already did that.
Yeah. As long as we get to spray it down with Lysol first, it's fine.
And I want to know, is Merwin Sue, is he wearing a mask on the telephone?
I don't think he
I
is.
absolutely can be. I have my mask on.
You can
even
be.
though I'm in my office. I feel like I can put the mask on if it feels more like a team player sort of thing. Happy to do it.
I think you should wear the mask.
Although, how would we know if he is?
Yeah. Well, we should be able to hear the difference. Exactly. You start sounding like the teacher in the Peanuts comics.
No, sometimes when Merwin talks, that's all I hear.
Yeah.
Always.
Okay, go ahead and talk, Merwin. Let's hear you.
We're doing the sound checks after we start the show now.
It's COVID protocol.
Yes.
Perfect.
Okay, back to business, gentlemen. We are in the studio. We are masked. Michael Lang here from Toledo Ballet. Michael has been a guest many times before on the program, so it's great to have you back. We are here to talk about, well, take as a point of departure here, this collaboration between Toledo Ballet and Toledo Symphony that's happening beginning this weekend. I always feel like these concerts are, starting this weekend because they're also available for streaming later on.
But they also started many weeks ago, especially when you think about the ballet productions. Because, I mean, Michael, you've been working on this for years at this point, right?
Yeah, years and
Started in
years.
75. Some of the kids weren't even born yet. It's really strange.
Well, that's good. You could erase them from conception
Raised them
to be
on
ballet
Gershwin.
dancers.
That's basically how it works.
But
So-
no, we start a few months ahead of time just because we're creating the choreography and everything else, and this year it's been interesting because we're just trying to piece things together from afar, and this whole environment has made it really
Difficult,
challenging.
I
But
imagine.
you meet those challenges, and here we go.
Well, it's called a Gershwin Celebration. We should tell people up front what this is all about, right? Can you tell us what it is, Michael?
Well, Lisa and I, Lisa also choreographed an American in Paris piece, and we've kind of tag teamed this one together. But we're thinking of this more as a celebration of just being back, and not necessarily. We're using Gershwin, and I think Zach and Alan and Merwin and all and I got together, and we just thought, this is lighthearted, fun music that people can just come out and go, oh my gosh, this is so much fun. And I think we need that right now. And so it's really a celebration that we are moving forward, when a lot of institutions across the nation, let's face it, are not right now. And so I think we're trend setting and showing what the possibilities are. And so it's really just a celebration of the arts and celebration of orchestra and ballet. And we've got a couple singers from U of M that are coming in to sing. And it's just a celebration of the arts and moving forward in this kind of crazy environment that we've all been in.
Zach, can you talk a little bit about this whole collaboration? I mean, you guys have been merged as an organization for some time now under the TAPA umbrella, but coming together and creating something that you could offer to an audience and even a live audience right now. You mentioned this has been in the conceptual stage for a long time, but I imagine that things changed as the pandemic took hold.
It's true, and you have to think about the planning for all of this goes back, not quite a year, but certainly before COVID was part of our vocabulary. So I remember I was talking to Lisa, and we were trying to think about something that we could do symbolic and celebratory because this was really an anniversary year for the Toledo Ballet, depending on how you look. This is either the 80th year or the 81st year of the ballet. But we wanted to celebrate the organization and do something that was festive, and it just became so simple, this idea of a Gershwin gala of sorts. And I think she had it in her mind already what it would look like and what it would feel like. And I really love the idea that Lisa and Michael would be able to choreograph this show. I think that's a symbolic thing to observe. You might disagree, Michael, but having lived through it. But no, I just thought it was appropriate and special. And one of the things that we can do as TAPA is not only find ways to add choreography to symphony performances or symphony musicians to ballet performances, but to create things that we wouldn't have done otherwise, and lead to celebration and draw an audience for the arts. And if you look at that in today's day and age, my gosh, I'm so happy we're doing this.
Yeah.
Well, and when you think of Gershwin as well, his style just kind of runs the gamut too.
Mm-hmm.
We're doing An American in Paris, which has that feel, that Gene Kelly kind of in Paris kind of feel to it. But then I'm actually getting on stage myself and doing Walking the Dog, which has a very kind of almost Bill Irwin-ish kind of musical theater comedy kind of feel to it. And then we have a Lullaby for String Quartet that we're doing, which has this classical kind of so. It's kind of what the ballet has become over the years. Is just this. We're the ballet, yes, over here, and then over here we're a little contemporary, and then over here we're a little musical theater, and then over here we're So it's got that representation, which I think is a nice way to celebrate the ballet today.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, we've talked about Lisa briefly, Lisa Mayerlang, who is your wife, and you guys are co-choreographers.
Did you know that, by the way?
Let me write that down. I'll put that in my notes.
That's right. Yeah, Lisa, in case you're listening.
I wondered why she was
the cat's
in my
out of
house
the
all
bag.
the time.
So you guys choreograph this together. You work together. First of all, do you get to work together like that as choreographers very often?
Yeah, not really. I mean, Lisa and I are both at the ballet. It's kind of like she has her thing over here, I have my thing over here, and then we meet in the middle. And with Gershwin, she has choreographed a piece that is 15 minutes long, and then I've choreographed 3 pieces, which are equal about the same. So we've collaborated, but it wasn't like we were in the studio together working at the same time. She was working with her group, and then I was working with my group, and then we kind of brought it all together. So it's yeah, and it's it doesn't necessarily have a through line, but we do have this these 3 girls that are in Paris, and I think that in itself is kind of interesting in this, because right now we can't go to Paris, I don't believe, right? Yeah, so
so we bring Paris to us.
So we bring Paris to us, and it's it's almost a we didn't really go with any of Gershwin's past works. We created our own, but these 3 girls are, I would say, almost a la Thoroughly Modern Millie, just three American girls in the big city of Paris, trying to figure it out, and meeting artists and culinary chefs, and just all the things that Paris offers. So,
now, is it important, like in the world of ballet, to have some kind of a story that you can hook everything on, or is it? Does it get a little abstract, or how does that work?
Everybody does it differently. I personally like to have a story. The kids laugh at me because often I will choreograph without the music first to make sure my idea gets up there, and then we'll go back and fit it to the music. But then there are some people that just feel like movement itself is you get a feeling from it. You get and so they don't have a story at all. So I think every choreographer works a little differently. Lisa's very, she's very aesthetic, and she makes sure the ballet lines and the technique is right in place, and I think that's apparent when you see her work. And when you see mine, it's a little bit more like, oh, we just went on a little journey somewhere,
Yeah.
And not that hers won't take you on a journey for sure, but I think everybody just works a little different in that sense.
Now, Michael, I'd love to know, I'd love for the listeners to know, I'd love for you to speak for a couple minutes about how choreographing in the age of COVID is different. What measures have you had to take, or what limitations are you working within?
Well, at the ballet, we went virtual right away, and so everybody was online taking classes. It's important, because it's not a professional company. We're a pre-professional with kids, in high school and some like young college age. Just to have normalcy right now, I think, to have something they can grab onto that feels like familiarity, that feels like, yes, I can at least go to ballet at 3:00 today. So we thought that was very important to just, let's get this virtual. And luckily, our parent guild was in the process of getting us these large screens that they were going to put out in the halls that people could watch the classes more clearly. and we had to take those and put them in the studio and use them for this virtual idea so that we could see the students better. And you just zig and zag how you have to with this world. But everybody, when we came back, we started right away. We had masks and such. So it's different, but I don't know. Humans are very adaptable, I think, and kids probably more so than adults sometimes can just go, okay,
definitely.
now we're doing this, and so it's been, they've gotten used to it. But it's definitely a challenge because, dance is very physical and it's very aerobic sometimes, and the masks, you see kids going outside and trying to catch their air, and we've just had to. I think the biggest part is more, just watching. Lisa had Nutcracker auditions, and just watching her smoke come out of her ears when she's trying to plan not just what's going to happen on stage, but now we have to plan out what's going to happen backstage. Okay, we have to keep these kids separate from these kids, and this and mask on here, and and so we're actually doing the show in masks. We had a company that we found, I believe it was in New York, where they took pictures of our face and they put the bottom half of our face onto the mask.
Wow.
And I'm doing Walking the Dog, as I said, and I'm doing it in this kind of Bill Irwin style. And I'm going to have 6 masks on my face. Let's just say that, and I'll leave it at that. I don't want to give too much away.
You do a little mask strip
all at the same time?
Da, da, da. Yeah, all at the same time. Yes, actually, yes. So
You're taking filtration to a new level.
yeah, if you see me, go to the floor and do like contemporary floor work, that was not planned. That's just me passing out from having 6 masks on my face.
Totally. I definitely think we should get those masks that print out the bottom half of our face and then switch masks. So we each have everybody else's face.
Ooh.
Right?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be fun?
Pick the face you like the best.
I was just going to say, I feel like there's a John Travolta, Nicolas Cage movie happening here.
Yeah. Face off. Just half a face, though.
Yeah.
Totally.
Face on.
Well, this concert is the actual concert itself is happening, the performance, Saturday at 7 o'clock. It's at the Peristyle, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then explain once more how this works. If folks want to live stream it, they can do that. Or if they want to rent the performance afterward.
Yep. Either way, you go to stream.artstoledo.com, and the live streamers, of course, can watch it live. And when the show begins, it shows up on your screen, and when it ends, it's off your screen. And about a day or so after that, it'll be available for rental, and that'll be up for about a month for 72-hour rental.
Okay.
You're always looking for positives in this kind of environment.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the only way we can move forward and keep going. And it just hit me. My mother is now too old to travel here to see these shows. And I told my sister, I said, hey, you can buy this show and watch it from Indianapolis. And that was kind of exciting to me that my mom could be part of this show. So even though, not having a full house, right now live is not ideal, there are some positives, I think. There are people all over the world. The internet's a world wide web, right?
And it's amazing to see the number of people from outside the country who are watching. It's really quite captivating.
Well, I mean, live streaming and streaming concerts and archived concerts have been the direction that performing arts has gone in, but in tandem with, of course, the live performances. And now everything has changed, so the emphasis is really on these internet offerings and to find ways to keep the audience engaged. And
Absolutely.
part of what we're doing here right now is an effort in that area as well, and making sure people know that this is available to them. I want to take a few moments and go through my little quiz that I have assembled for you guys. Now, I've given you each, except for you, Merwin. You're on the phone. You're still there, Merwin?
Oh, yeah, Merwin's here.
I'm around.
Now, here's how it works.
I'm like Arthur Gershwin.
Yes, Arthur. So we have a bunch of different quotes here. I've mixed them all up so you guys have a mixture of quotes. You tell me. I'm going to go around one by one, read the quote. You tell me if it's a quote from George Gershwin, a quote from George Balanchine, or a quote from George Bernard Shaw.
Oh, gosh.
Okay?
Is this the Curious George quiz?
I forgot to include Curious George.
This is the part of the show that
Yes.
always reminds me why I don't audition for Jeopardy.
I just remember last time we did this, Michael, I think pigeons.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
pigeons,
There's always
yeah.
something
Yeah.
embarrassing that happens.
That was a New Year's show. Well,
That's
Michael,
right.
let's start with you.
This is why dancers don't talk.
Yeah. I've got
That's why dancers don't.
the answer key here. I think there's a quote like that on there. Anyway, see what you got
Got
there.
my eyes on here.
Read it off for us.
Originality is the only thing that counts. Ooh,
Okay.
That could be any artist.
Who would that be? George Gershwin, George Bernard Shaw, or George Balanchine? Any takers?
I'm kind of feeling Shaw. I meant Balanchine.
I think it's Gershwin.
Gershwin.
I think you should.
Curious George.
Yeah. Stick with pigeons. Okay. Let's do our next one here. Why don't you go, Zach?
I
Grab one.
would have said the same thing.
Okay, what do you got?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so mine says silence is the perfect expression of scorn. Silence is the perfect expression of scorn.
Who would that be? Let me pull up some music here
I
to
don't
kind of
think
keep
George
us
Bernard Shaw. I'm going to go Shaw. Scorn and Shaw seem to go hand in hand. He was a music critic, too.
Yeah.
You know what, though? Merwin's calling it. We have no... He's Googling the crap out of stuff right
Google.
now.
So not cool.
Now, I use Bing or Yahoo or whatever search engine is actually up.
Okay, we have a little Gershwin knockoff music in the background there. Let's just jump to the next one. Here, I'll grab one of mine here. I don't need a roulette wheel to get this.
That's
Looks
not
like
a roulette wheel. You really need to gamble more.
Okay. Yeah. Every day is a gamble for me. Okay. My muse must come to me on union time.
Ooh.
My muse
I
must
love
come to me on
I would go
union
with
time.
Balanchine for that one.
George Balanchine?
Yep.
Yeah, Balanchine has...
Got it. Hey, let me keep track here. The first one was nobody.
I'm pretty sure I got it.
Well,
By
you got
process
it
of
after
elimination.
everybody else did. The second one was Merwin. Third one was Zach. So, Zach, you're ahead. You're ahead. Okay. Why don't you go ahead and pull another one, Zach, since you're ahead?
What is life but a series of inspired follies?
That should be fairly easy.
I would say it's Gershwin.
Gershwin, yeah.
Oh,
I got a quick copy of Zach.
Merwin, who do
And
you
we are
think?
going to lead each other into very embarrassing territory here.
Did you all say Gershwin?
Yeah, I totally said Gershwin.
No, it's George Bernard Shaw.
Oh, my goodness.
You said this one was supposed to be easy.
Well, that's what I thought. Okay, Michael, why don't you grab one? Okay, go ahead.
Sometimes the greatest motivation is a deadline.
Are you saying that because it's on your paper, or did that just come to you?
No, you just made that up. That's like one of your quotes, isn't it?
I think that's Michael Lang.
Yeah.
I'm just showing if I make up the quiz,
Yeah.
who wins this thing.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing here. That's
All
a
right.
Balanchine quote.
Yeah,
It's a
but that's
Balanchine
not
quote.
on my list.
Fine.
I think you just added
one.
one.
It's a Gershwin quote then.
No.
No, it's Balanchine. I use it all the time.
Wait, say the quote again.
Sometimes,
Come on, Cresswell, pay
Sometimes
attention.
the greatest motivation is a deadline.
Okay, that's great, but that's not on my list.
All right. Gosh. My people are Americans. My time is today.
Who is that?
People are Americans.
Let's go with Gershwin.
All right.
Well, if you say Gershwin enough, it'll show
Doesn't
up.
Merwin always win this?
Yes, he always does.
That is not true. I think I got killed last time.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Yeah, here's mine. Feeling alone won't do the job. A man also needs technique.
That sounds like Balanchine.
I was going to go with Michael on that one, so I'll say Gershwin then.
That one is Gershwin. Go for it, Zach.
I like to do things certain ways, and I disagree with everybody, but I don't even want to argue.
Are you you sure that's a quote?
That's a quote. That's not just Zach talking.
Thanks,
That's a
Merwin.
quote.
I like to do things certain ways. I disagree with everybody, but I don't even want to argue.
No guesses?
I'm going to go with Shaw.
Yeah, I was going. Ah.
Oh, I love that the buzzer was in the same key as the background music. That's nice. Well timed.
You shouldn't act surprised. You should say you planned that.
Yeah,
I think I would
exactly.
say that's Balanchine more than Gershwin.
Yeah.
Because I feel like Gershwin was probably a little more agreeable.
Maybe. It just depends. You think, and Shaw definitely was not more agreeable.
Well, you already ruled out Shaw, so yeah.
Okay, here's a quote, and I'm pretty sure that you'll get this, Michael.
Balanchine. I'm just.
You won. Let me pull up some other music here. No, I don't like that one. Let's get this one. Yeah, it's another Gershwin knockoff. Here's a quote. See the music, hear the dance.
I think we established that with Balanchine.
Shaw.
Sure enough, it's Balanchine.
Balanchine.
Okay. I just realized I have a problem here because I've been marking M for Michael and M for Merwin.
We have this problem all the time, if we recall.
My thanks to Merwin Sue.
Exactly.
I'm not sure.
Just wait till the end of the show and the
Yeah.
credits.
Okay. Inside
Yeah, I think
jokes.
this is the most sober interview we've done with you, Michael.
Yeah.
We clearly have to do something differently.
Well, the masks are keeping us from drinking, so yeah.
I just remember like slamming my hand on this table a few too many times for fear that I was going to break the set.
Michael, why don't you pull one up for us?
I can't even pick it up. All right.
Dexterity.
By the time he gets his glasses on, it's tomorrow.
I know. Just wait.
Can't
He who
wait.
can does, he who cannot teaches.
Oh.
I've heard that from a few people, I feel.
Yeah, but who originated that quote?
That
Shaw.
sounds like, yeah, it sounds like Shaw. I would agree.
Yeah, George Bernard Shaw. Go for it, Zach.
This is like the Warsaw Concerto or something. All right, mine says, God creates, man assembles.
God creates, man assembles.
Balanchine? I'm just thinking Apollo and all this kind of stuff. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, the music does help. Yeah.
Okay, let's just do one last little round so you can go through and pick your favorite of the three that are left. Let me find what I want to use here. Okay. Okay.
I like
If you
this.
like something of someone else's, why not take it? The important thing is that it seems natural and fit in.
I'm feeling Gershwin.
Oh,
That sound like goes right into your heart.
I know, I hear it all the time, Michael.
A2.
Dummy.
Buzzer. If you like something of someone else's, why not take it? The important thing is that it seems natural and fit in. I mean, there are only two left. What do you say, Merwin?
I'll go with Shaw.
What do you say, Zach?
I'm going to go with Gershwin.
Oh, no, it's not Gershwin.
Yeah.
Somebody already said
I said
Gershwin.
I'm going to go with Gershwin again then. I'm doubling down all in Gershwin.
Okay.
Zach and I are in this together, whether we're right or wrong. We're just.
I'm marking that with a B for Brad because and Balanchine.
You subtract it one from each of us.
Mr. B.
Okay,
Wow.
let's hear from you, Zach.
These are both really good. I think I'm going to go with, I like to think of music as an emotional science.
Okay, who would that be?
I would like to think it's Gershwin.
You got it. Straight out of the gate.
I like the other one too. I just want to read it. We don't have to guess who it is. I just think it's really fun. If you set out deliberately to make a masterpiece, how will you ever get it finished?
Yeah, that's George Balanchine.
Yeah, I was going to say
Actually.
that sounds Balanchine-ish.
Yeah. Let's hear the last one. And the last one. Hang on, Michael. Okay.
If you cannot get rid of family skeleton, you may as well make it dance.
Perfectly timed.
Yeah. That's got to be Balanchine.
That has to be, yeah.
Okay. No.
What?
No, that's not it.
Okay, I'm going Shaw.
The quote, and I'm not sure if everybody got that. If you cannot get rid of the family skeleton, you may as well make it dance.
No, I got it.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I still think Balanchine made more sense.
George Bernard Shaw.
Something about
that was good.
dance.
Yeah.
I mean, judging by the initials I put down here, the winner is M. I'm not sure if that's...
I won again!
I'm not sure if that's Michael or Merwin. Yeah, exactly. I don't even need the soundboard. I just have Michael.
That's what we're going to call you from now on, the walking soundboard. So we're kind of dancing around this topic. What about...
Balanchine. Crap.
It's not even right when it's wrong. We've been dancing around this topic, though. I'd love to... Why is Gershwin celebratory? Why is he appropriate to celebration? What about his musical characteristic makes sense for this occasion?
Well, I think, like we said, I think it's just it's lighthearted, it's fun, it just feels celebratory. You know, it has this. And once again, I love the diversity of it. You know, I was reading up a little bit. Obviously, none of this that we just did, but you know, I loved what Ravel's rejection letter, was to him, because he said, why be a second-rate Ravel when you could be a first-rate Gershwin? You know, and he had his own style that kind of set the ground, and so, you know, as we were talking right now, we're kind of the groundbreakers. You know, we're the ones doing it. We're the ones, you know, going out there. We're doing it safely, but we're doing it, and so, you know, Gershwin too had his own style that became Gershwin. You know, and
if you think back a year, we were working on Petrushka, which never got to stage, and I hope it will someday. But as you're working through that, and you're thinking about the Ballet Russe, you're thinking about this a very similar period to when Gershwin was composing here in the States. What kind of variety was alive at that time, and why does that inspire you?
Well, one of the things with Gershwin is it does have this musical theater quality to it, and so Lisa and I both have this musical theater background, and so it's our wheelhouse as far as what we did professionally. But that whole time period, like you mentioned, Ballet Russe, talk about different. I mean, they were pushing the envelope in a way different direction in the ballet world, especially costume-wise, dance-wise. I mean, you have these crazy things that Nijinsky was doing, and so it's just a really interesting time where I think a lot of people were establishing their artistic voices and setting up what was to come for the next 100 years or more. So I don't know if I answered your question or not, but
I have wondered the same thing, Zach. On the surface, I see, especially Michael.
Do I get a point for that?
Yes, absolutely. You get a point.
Hey, I was supposed to be the sound.
Oh, that's right. Sorry. Here, can you do this one?
Yeah, but we'd have to clear the room.
Okay. Well, it's about time to clear the room anyway. I did want to just make an observation, Michael, that I see a lot of the work that you do is very strongly connected to the history of music and dance. And, you talk about Ballet Russe, things like The Rite of Spring. I mean, these are works that are 100 years old, but still, when you see them today, they command your attention, right? So I think that your taste, and tell me if I'm wrong, I think it runs a little bit in that way of classic works that you try to bring forward in a slightly different light. You put your own personal stamp on it, as it were.
Well, when you think about Ballet Russe and you think about Diaghilev and that group, it really was about moving art forward in a way that, let's face it, the crowds weren't always crazy about.
Yeah.
Riots.
Yeah,
You're
riots.
Talking about
yeah.
Rite of Spring.
Yeah. Well, and all of it, they just felt like, well, wait a minute, because there was a very classical, the costumes became more real, and they stopped taking reverence after each piece, and just a lot of things that said, no, the storyline is what's important here, and so. Now that's normal. I mean, we don't even think about it, but back then it was kind of groundbreaking. And so, I'd like to take these classical ideas, especially, I don't know, I have always had a draw to the Belarus, but just take things from the past, but then make it relevant to what's going on right now in this light of like the art always has to keep moving forward because life moves forward. And what else are we representing than life when you think about it? So,
and more important right now than it ever has been.
Yeah,
really.
yeah. And you also, I think what's interesting is you also learn that human struggles have always been human struggles. Things change. Technology now is a huge part of our life, but the human soul and the human spirit has always had to deal with this or deal with that, just in whatever its circumstances were at the time. So we're not that much different. I always get a little, because I work with these kids and they're fantastic, and I always get a little upset with the generation that's like, oh, these kids these days. I said, these kids these days are fantastic, and they're more tolerant than any generation I've ever seen. And, the world was much better when. It's just like, was it really? I mean, there were people that used to take armies and take over complete lands all the time, so right now, we have a lot going on, but a lot's always been going on. So that's
true.
Just,
Absolutely. Merwin, are you still there?
I am definitely still there. I actually really wanted to second Michael's thought. It's something that always, it's something that always raises my hackles, I guess, when you hear these kind of cross-generational comments. And I guess maybe I'm always hearing kind of older generations talking about the younger generation and lamenting such and such a character failing. And I've always felt that. And maybe my students are a somewhat self-selecting group, but I'm always incredibly inspired by the fact that my students are going to be, ruling the world someday. It's wonderful. That to me has always been inspirational.
Yeah, as long as they stay off my lawn, it's okay, right?
Yes, smashing my petunias.
Yeah. Well, the concert is happening this Saturday at 7 o'clock p.m. at the Peristyle. You can find out information on how to stream that online at ToledoSymphony.com. Also, the streaming concert website is stream.artstoledo.com. You can rent the performance and watch it anytime after that. My guest, Michael Lang, choreographer, along with his wife, Lisa Mayer Lang, choreographing this Gershwin Celebration. I want to thank you, Michael, for stopping in and visiting with us today, wearing our masks, socially distanced. We've even got little plexiglass barriers here in between us, but it's okay. We managed to see and talk just fine. Also, thanks to Zach Vassar for coming in. And thanks to you, Merwin, for being on the phone and giving up your seats so that Michael could come in and join us today. This program is a production of WGTE Public Media in collaboration with our sponsor, the Toledo Symphony, with generous support from the Rita Barber Kern Foundation. You can download episodes of our program as a podcast by going to our website at wgte.org/lab. You can also subscribe to us through your podcast app of choice, including Apple and Google Podcasts. Don't forget to check out all the upcoming events at the Symphony by visiting their website at ToledoSymphony.com and their various social media outlets on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And as I mentioned before, you can find the streaming concerts online at stream.artstoledo.com. My thanks again to Zach Vassar, Merwin Siu, and our special guest, Michael Lang. I'm Brad Cresswell. You've been listening to Toledo Symphony Lab from FM 91.